Life has a way of whispering truths that are easy to ignore but impossible to escape. And one of those truths is this: nothing grows in a field where no one works the soil. A person can stand by the edge of a barren land holding the vision of a golden harvest in their mind, hoping that God will make it bloom. But unless they bend their back, put their hands in the dirt, and sow the seeds, that dream remains only a picture in their imagination. Faith alone may give strength to dream, but action is the bridge that carries that dream into reality. When a thought first enters your heart, it carries with it the quiet spark of faith. You believe in a better life, a bigger vision, a breakthrough beyond the limitations of today. This faith is not an accident. It is planted by God as a seed of possibility. But every seed demands cultivation. If you simply admire it, waiting for it to bloom on its own, it withers in the silence of neglect. Faith without movement is incomplete, because belief, no matter how strong, is like a lamp without oil. It holds potential, but cannot shine until you pour something into it. So many lives remain stagnant, not because God denied them opportunity, but because they chose to stop at hope. They sit with folded hands, asking for blessings, but never stretching those hands to work in the direction of the blessing. The truth is, God has never withheld power from man. He only asks that we prove our readiness by taking action. Every time you act, you are declaring to heaven and earth that your faith is alive. Every step you take says, "I am ready to receive." Without action, faith is like an unopened gift. It exists, but it never becomes useful. Prayer is often misunderstood as the final step, when in truth it is the beginning. To pray is to spark a fire in the heart, to awaken a connection with the divine. But once the spark is lit, it is action that breathes it into a flame. Asking is powerful, but asking without moving is incomplete. Imagine a man who kneels every day praying for strength, but when life demands courage, he remains frozen. Does the prayer have power if he never rises to act upon it? God's design was never to reward idleness disguised as faith. He rewards those who step forward even when the road is uncertain, those who plant seeds without seeing the rain clouds, yet trust the harvest will come. When you move, unseen forces move with you. Doors you never imagined begin to open. People appear at the right moment. Opportunities align as if destiny itself had been waiting for you to act. But all of this remains hidden until you take the first step. Action is the language heaven understands. It is your proof of belief. A prayer whispered with no action is only a wish, but a prayer followed by bold steps becomes a command to the universe, a declaration that cannot be ignored. Think of the greatest breakthroughs in history, the lives that changed the world. None of them were built by people who simply hoped and waited. They were built by people who hoped, believed, and then acted with everything they had. They worked through fear, through doubt, through nights of silence when nothing seemed to move in their favor. Yet in those moments of work, they were closest to God because their actions became living prayers. Each hour of effort was a testimony of faith, each sacrifice a hymn rising upward. Your life is no different. You may be waiting for a sign, for a miracle, for something beyond you to ignite change. But perhaps the miracle has already been given. The vision inside you, the strength in your body, the fire in your spirit. What remains is action. You are not meant to sit forever at the riverbank, praying for a bridge to appear. You are meant to step into the waters, trusting that with each stride, the path will rise to meet you. Faith without action is incomplete because it denies the very partnership between God and man. Hope sets the direction, but action builds the road. And remember this: prayer is the spark, but action is the fire. Sparks are fleeting. They flash for a moment and disappear unless fed by fuel. Prayer gives you clarity, focus, and strength, but it is the steps you take after you rise from your knees that determine whether the fire grows. To act is to honor your prayer. To act is to prove that your words were not empty. Each step forward is a continuation of that moment of faith when you first asked. When you put faith into motion, the world cannot remain still. Circumstances bend, opportunities unfold, and life reshapes itself around your determination. The man who only prays may wait a lifetime for a miracle that never comes. But the one who prays and acts becomes the miracle himself, living proof that God rewards action, not just hope. You already carry the seed, the spark, the potential. The question is not whether God has given enough. The question is whether you are willing to move, to rise, to turn faith into footsteps. For the reward is not given to the dreamer who only dreams, but to the dreamer who dares to build. God has promised that effort shall not go unnoticed, that sweat shall not go unrewarded, that faith made alive through action shall always bring fruit. The time is now. Stand up, move forward, and let your actions become the greatest prayer you ever spoke. There is a difference between those who sit still, hoping life will change, and those who stand up and move with conviction, even when the path is unclear. The truth is timeless. Heaven helps those who move. You can spend endless days hoping for a shift in your circumstances, but nothing changes until you take the first step. Divine power is not reserved for the passive. It flows into the lives of those who dare to act. The moment you decide to rise from your waiting place and put your hope into motion, unseen forces align with you, guiding your steps, clearing obstacles, and strengthening your resolve. Think about the nature of water. Stagnant water becomes still, lifeless, and stale, but flowing water is pure, refreshing, and full of life. Faith works the same way. Faith that sits without action becomes stale, a dream without energy, but faith that flows through action stays alive, vibrant, and powerful. Movement shows that you trust the one who planted the dream within you. It is not about waiting until everything is perfect. It is about stepping forward in the imperfection, showing that your belief is strong enough to act even when certainty is not in sight. There are countless people who wait for the right moment. They wait until they have more money, more confidence, more resources, or until every fear disappears. But the right moment is never found in waiting. It is created through action. God meets you in motion, not in hesitation. A ship cannot be steered while it sits anchored at the shore. It can only be guided once it sails into the water. In the same way, your life cannot be directed toward purpose while you remain motionless. Heaven helps those who take the step, those who dare to begin. This is where the power of persistence comes in. Hope is a spark, but persistence is the fuel that keeps the flame alive. Every great achievement began with small, imperfect actions. Each step taken may seem insignificant at first, but each one is a seed planted. God does not bless wasted potential, but He richly blesses effort, no matter how small, when it is consistent. A single seed may look fragile, but when planted and watered, it grows into a tree that provides shade, fruit, and life. In the same way, every action you take, even when it feels small, carries within it the power to grow into something far greater. Hope creates possibility, but action transforms that possibility into reality. A dream without action is like a field without seeds. The soil may be rich, the season may be perfect, but unless someone puts in the effort to plant, nothing will grow. You can dream of success, you can visualize abundance, you can write down goals with clarity. But if you never act, those dreams remain silent in your heart. Action is the proof that you truly desire the dream. It is the bridge that carries you from the invisible world of hope into the visible world of achievement. God's design has always been clear. Faith is meant to move mountains, but mountains are moved only when you start pushing. Prayer gives you strength to face the mountain, but action is what places your hands on the stone and shifts it piece by piece. Miracles are not handed to those who simply wish. They are delivered to those who persist, who push, who trust that even the heaviest mountain will yield when effort meets divine favor. When you act, you show that your hope is more than a fantasy. You demonstrate that you are serious about your calling, that you are ready to partner with the power greater than yourself. Hope can exist in silence, but action has a voice. It speaks loudly, declaring your readiness to the universe. And the universe, guided by God's order, responds to those declarations. Life bends to the will of those who move forward with unshakable persistence. Think about the farmer once more. He does not simply hope for a harvest. He plows the soil, plants the seeds, waters the ground, and tends to the field. He does not know the exact day the rain will fall, but he works as though the rain is certain. That is the power of combining hope with action. God sends the rain, but only the farmer who prepared his land will receive the blessing of growth. The one who hoped without planting has nothing to give, even when the skies open and pour abundance. There is an important lesson here. God is generous, but his generosity flows through principles. One of those principles is that reward follows effort. Life responds to the worker, not the idle dreamer. If you take one step, heaven will take 10 for you, but the first step must be yours. Hope can give you vision, but vision without footsteps is like a map that is never followed. You hold the compass, you see the direction, but until you walk, the destination remains unreachable. Those who act often discover something remarkable. The moment they take the first step, strength they never knew they had begins to appear. Courage builds as they move. Opportunities that were invisible suddenly come into sight. People who can help cross their path unexpectedly. It is as if heaven itself was waiting for them to move before releasing the resources. This is why action is so important. It unlocks blessings that remain hidden until faith is proven through work. So ask yourself today, have you been waiting for too long? Have you allowed hope to remain idle, expecting everything to fall into place without your movement? The truth is, everything you desire is waiting for you, but it waits on the other side of action. Begin, even if the step is small. Begin, even if fear whispers in your ear. Begin, even when resources seem scarce. For heaven helps those who move, and the power of God flows mightily through those who refuse to let hope sit still. Hope will give you the dream, but action will give you the life. Without action, dreams remain shadows of what could be. With action, they become reality, tangible and alive. The greatest partnership you will ever form is the one between your faith and your effort. God rewards that union with doors opened, mountains moved, and victories gained. Do not wait for a perfect day. Do not wait for every fear to vanish. Move now, because when you move, heaven moves with you, and in that partnership lies the life you have always imagined. There comes a moment in every life when dreams are tested. It is easy to speak of faith, easy to talk about visions, easy to imagine a brighter future. But when the time comes to rise early, to stay late, to sacrifice comfort, that is when faith is measured. God tests sincerity not by the words that pass your lips, but by the effort that flows from your hands. Your work is proof of your belief. Without it, your declarations are empty sounds. Every hour of effort is like a signature on a contract with destiny, showing heaven itself that you are serious about what you seek. It is not enough to say you want abundance. Anyone can hope for more wealth, better opportunities, or a greater life. The question is, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to put in the sweat, the focus, and the discipline? God does not reward hollow hope. He rewards those who rise when others sleep, those who labor while others complain, those who persist when the path is long and the results are hidden. Your effort is the evidence that you mean what you ask for. Without it, your prayers are like seeds left in a bag, full of potential but never planted. There are many who pray for strength but avoid the challenges that build it. They pray for wisdom but never open the book, never seek the mentor, never test themselves in the arena of learning. They pray for success but avoid the very struggles that shape character. God does not grant rewards as favors handed to the idle. He grants them as blessings to those who prove their sincerity with action. Work is a form of worship, a living declaration that you respect the gifts given to you by the Creator. If you neglect those gifts, if you bury them in laziness or fear, then you show that you were never truly ready. Sincerity is revealed not in what you want, but in what you are willing to do for what you want. And here lies the beauty of divine order. Every ounce of effort carries meaning. Nothing is wasted. Even the struggle, even the setbacks, even the pain of trying and failing are counted. They are not punishments. They are proofs. Proof that you are willing, proof that you are real, proof that your hope is not idle fantasy, but burning conviction. Every test of effort is a question from God. Do you truly desire what you ask for? And every act of persistence is your answer. This leads to another eternal truth. The universe responds to persistence. Divine law is woven with consistency and discipline. Look at nature itself. The river does not carve the stone with a single strike. It does so with constant flow, day after day, year after year. The seed does not grow into a tree overnight. It does so through steady nurturing. The stars themselves follow a rhythm of persistence, rising and setting without fail. All of creation reflects the principle that persistence is rewarded. Why would your life be any different? Many people quit too soon. They plant seeds but abandon the field before the harvest arrives. They start journeys but stop at the first hill, never realizing the mountain beyond is where the true reward lies. They let obstacles discourage them, thinking delays mean denial. But God does not deny. He refines. He watches persistence. He allows challenges not to break you, but to shape you, to see if your heart is strong enough to handle the blessing you are chasing. For what good is success given to one who cannot carry its weight? Persistence is your demonstration that you are prepared. Each time you rise after failure, you show that your dream is bigger than your pain. Each time you keep going after disappointment, you prove that your faith is stronger than circumstance. The universe bows to those who refuse to bow to defeat. Doors eventually open for the one who keeps knocking, not because the doors were locked forever, but because persistence was the key.